There are so many reasons faculty, researchers, and graduate students decide to start managing your online presence. Are you getting ready for the job market? Maybe you're up for review. For most people I've spoken with, it's usually at a point of change. Something happens, and now you need to communicate how and what you do. Managing your online presence in academia is all about these three things. First, you have to know what's out there about you for people to find. 2, you need to know where people are looking for information about you and your work. And 3, you need to create or manage content that showcases what you'd like people to know. In this guide, we're going to talk about how to do exactly that. I'm Jennifer Van Alstyne. Welcome to my blog, The Social Academic, where I share advice articles like this and I interview people like you about their work and online presence. I've written about managing your online presence before, but not a general getting started guide. I thought this was the perfect post to pair with the relaunch of my free online course, The Internet for Academics. Let's dive in. So first things first, you need to know what's already out there about you. For some of you, that's quite a bit of information. Start with search engines like Google. If you Google yourself, you may see things like your faculty profile, your articles and publications, mentions in news articles, university-related blog posts and website pages, society newsletters, event listings. You may also see things like your public social media accounts, and your personal website if you have one. You may also see none of these things. Some people truly do not have an online presence. I know because I've Googled everyone I've been on a presentation with, who've set up meetings with me, friends I need to introduce, etc. And let me tell you, some of y'all are hard to find. But here's the thing, I'm dedicated to learning about the people I meet. Knowing a bit about someone is so helpful for having a meaningful conversation, so I'm willing to do the work to learn more, but most people aren't. Someone Googling your name is looking for info about you. They may be looking for different types of information, but in general, people want basic things like a short bio, a photo of you, a description of what you do, and contact info. Colleagues and people in your field may be looking for more specialized information like your publications and speaking engagements. But in general, people are looking for a bit about you and they're willing to spend time to find it. Who are those people? It could be anyone really. Here are some examples. Friends, family, colleagues, administrators, students, university public relations or communications offices, society or organization members, others in your field or specialization, journal editors, book editors and publishers, conference and event organizers, grant and research funders, the media, and the public. I started with friends and family because I want you to know that managing your online presence isn't just for the public. It's about communicating with all the people who are interested in learning more about you. So that first step is finding out what they can learn about you already. Step 2. Where are people looking for info about you? The first place most people will look for info about you is Google, but it's not the only place. People like your colleagues, administrators, and students may search your university website to learn more. Some people are looking for you on LinkedIn or on a research-specific networking site. Others want to connect with your conversations on Twitter. Ask yourself these questions to determine where your potential audience is spending time. Who in the past 6 months may have needed to look me up? Am I anticipating anyone new who needs to learn about me in the near future? For instance, hiring managers? Where do my friends and colleagues spend their time online? How do people in my field usually stay up to date on new research? How are other people in my field managing their online presence? Do they have websites, social media accounts, research-based networking profiles? Thinking through these questions does not mean that you need to take action on each of these things. But being aware of the answers does set you up to make a more informed choice. After all, managing your online presence does take time and energy, That's why we take this more thought out approach so that you don't waste your time with something that doesn't work for and benefit you. The gold standard for managing your online presence is a personal website, and I wrote a guide to help you get started. I'll be sure to link to that here. But a personal academic website is not the only way. For those of you not ready to make a website or manage one long term, my best suggestion is a LinkedIn profile. Social media profiles are a great way to manage your online presence. But social media profiles don't help unless you use them, so you definitely want to consider your options for social media before you get started. Online content that helps share who you are and what you do can be dynamic, like on social media where you can have text, images, GIFs, video, and links. With social media, you can post content whenever you want, like when you have a new article or a publication. But it can also be static, more permanent content, like an article on LinkedIn, a blog post for your department, or a video on your university's YouTube account. There's lots of options to choose from. That's why thinking through things like where your audience is spending time and how they want to learn about you is helpful. Updating or creating profile, like on Google Scholar, OrcID, ResearchGate, etc., takes time. Creating posts for social media takes time. Writing a blog post or article for your university takes time. And yes, some of you are now saying, I don't have time. I can't do this right now. And that's okay. Just be sure to come back and check these tips out when you do. It's never too early or too late to start this process. So step 3 is create content to manage your online presence. Once you've decided where you most like people to learn about you, it's time to jump in and start creating content. Make a list of things you want to do. Here's what mine look like. I needed to make a personal website so that I can share it on any profiles that I create, like social media. I needed to create a LinkedIn profile and connect with people in my field. Start a Twitter account and learn how to tweet. Seriously, I just joined Twitter 2 years ago. I had to set up academic networking accounts on Google Scholar, academia.edu, and ResearchGate, edit my profiles on Instagram and Facebook, go through existing social media profiles and content to double check that there isn't anything that shouldn't be there, and think about blog and article ideas I can write that people will actually read. When I Googled myself back then, there was a lot of content that showed up. I'm a poet, so there were links to literary journals and news articles about my poetry, but that wasn't particularly helpful for my medievalist friends or to the ego critics I networked with. I needed a centralized place to share who I was and what I was up to, even if that changed. Managing your online presence is about creating content that informs people who are curious about who you are and what you do. Shares the things people need to know, like details for upcoming events or where to read your latest article, and invites people to get in touch. If, when someone Googles you, they're able to find these things, that's great. For most academics, this takes time and a bit of work to get it all going. For more guidance, I have a free training to help. If you're ready to take control of your online presence, be sure to check out my free course, The Internet for Academics. This training has been closed for over a year, as my plan to update it had to be put on the back burner. Dozens of people took the original course, and I'm so excited to relaunch it for you now with new content. We're going to talk about social media, personal academic websites, and a more in-depth look at how to get started. Learn how to manage your online presence in academia. Join the discussion by enrolling in the Internet for Academics now. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode of The Social Academic. I'm Jennifer Van Alstyne, and I'd love to connect with you on social media. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn at higheredpr. I look forward to connecting with you. Be sure to subscribe to The Social Academic today.